Hey guys, Elissa Stone. It's been several weeks since I've been sitting here, but super excited about today. I have Kenneth, my fitness coach. Hi, Kenneth.
Hi, how are you?
Good. We are coming off of an absolutely crazy, insane, awesome weekend. I mentioned last time that Kenneth was a guest that we would do an update after the fitness competition. So the good news is I made it.
We did it.
We completed the goal.
We did it.
Woo! So we're going to give updates about everything. Me individually. I also want to talk about you,
Yes,
your
please.
team, everybody, the future, where we're going.
Cool.
So as always, we don't talk about what we're going to talk about. We just kind of go with it because to me, that's very authentic. And that kind of goes with what you are about.
That's right up my alley.
Right,
Yes.
right. Okay, so tell us how many athletes you had compete in the show on Saturday.
Yep. So it was you and 6 other athletes here in Houston at the John Sherman Classic. And then I had one other in Florida competing in Daytona. Tony Lynch, he was doing his classic physique debut, and then another men's physique show for the year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So was that the most amount of athletes you've ever had at one show or competing at one time?
It was definitely something that I knew was coming. Some of the guys that you have been working out with, and we'll talk of today, have been doing this for probably almost a year now. So I've known the dates coming, but yes, this was the most I've ever had.
Wow. Completely amazing. So I think I mentioned in the first show, I'd competed before. It had been a very, very long time running my own business, kids, all these things. But, I want to stay in shape. So I would go up to the gym and I would see this group of guys. And they were, I was friends with them. We would say hi in passing and they were super inspiring. And I knew they were training for a show. And I knew of Kenneth. I'd seen him around. We'd conversed a little bit. And I was kind of toying. I was like, gosh, do I really want to do another show? I'm a little out of shape. I'm working too much, having too many cocktails. And so that's what kind of led me down the path to contact you. And then I still wasn't all in. I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll do a show.
Yes.
And then I would see the guys at the gym and they'd be like, are you in or are you out? And I'm like, I'm in.
Yes.
And so we did it. So let's talk a little bit about my individual story first.
Perfect.
And then let's get into everything else.
I love it.
So when you first met me and we talked about my goals and competing, I have so much on my plate with both running my own business, twins, speaking, all of these different things. Did you think that I was going to be able to cross the finish line on this one? Honestly.
I knew if I could get you to believe you could do it, you would force yourself to. And I mean the word force very intentionally. You didn't just list the things that are on your plate without intentionality. Like you make very conscious decisions about what you're doing. And so when you said I'm going to do a show, there was never a time you showed up for the workout and it was like, I don't want to be here. There was never a time we had a conversation where it was like, I don't want to do this. It was like constant self-criticalness, if I'm being honest. And I really had to juggle that or really kind of balance that for you. And once we figured that out, I knew it was like sweet sailing. I knew it was perfect. Yes.
You want to know something that you don't know?
Tell me.
I did not register for the show intentionally
Yes.
until the night before. But I went to register and I'm sitting in bed. It's like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, well, shit, I should probably register for this show if I'm doing it tomorrow. And I went to register and they'd closed registration. And I was like, oh, no. And I'm like, did I do all this work and I'm finally ready to 100% commit and they closed registration? So I emailed John Sherman in the middle of the night and I'm like, will you please help me? Registration's closed. I waited till the last minute. I'm so sorry. He emailed me back at 4 a.m. He goes, it's no big deal. He was like, just show up tomorrow. You can pay on the spot. You didn't know that, did you?
You weren't the only athlete. That's what you don't know. That these unfortunate possibilities
Couldn't have happened. We had another athlete that had a prior commitment with some of his family.
Yeah.
And so he had to be somewhere Friday night. And so he could not be at check-ins. It just was not happening.
Right.
And he started messaging John and said, hey, how do I not show up to check-ins and still make this happen?
Right.
And so John, again, was gracious enough where he was able to show up at the hotel that night. And before they had closed things, really shut things down for the night, he was able to check in. But it was like these athletes didn't believe in themselves enough to dive in. And I was there waiting for everybody. I was like, hey, we've done this. We've gone through 10, 12, 16 weeks.
why wouldn't we show up now? Like, it's the time. We got to put food in our body and
It was
makeup on. It was beauty.
It was that little loophole in my head, you know? And then I was sitting there at night and I was like, you know what? I've had every intention of doing this. I'm not backing out now. I never back out of anything that I say that I'm going to do. Okay, let's just, go through with the detail of it.
Of actually being able to do the
Yes.
experience we've been talking about.
Yes. Well, let's talk about the other athletes too.
Cool. Yes.
So these amazing guys that I keep seeing at the gym, and that was really the inspiration. And then meeting you, and your whole model is you're not just a fitness coach, you're a mindset coach. You are anything and everything in between. So for example, me in particular as a client, and all of your other athletes as well, it's like you follow their personal successes and the goals that they set, and you're so uplifting. I've played a video that you sent me on one of my other podcasts, and it's like you were so uplifting. You're like, Elissa, you just completed this goal you set, and you did it while you're in prep. I've never experienced that type of motivation and just overall encouragement from a fitness coach, because you're so much more than that. Like, tell me a little bit about your model and what makes you be that person for all of your athletes.
Me and Amy were talking after the show about something that's really been sitting with me, and I lived it very vibrantly Saturday with all of the athletes and experiencing the success that we did as a team. And it's about being in purpose. And when I get text seeking help or encouragement or empowerment or direction when they feel lost, or when families are sitting in the stands and watching them succeed after 16 weeks of struggle, or it be a dad empowering children because maybe he didn't have a dad or grandfather due to health scenarios. And like, what I do now has to do with my purpose. Like, I'm literally living it every time I put someone through a session, or we talk about diets or set a new goal. Like, I'm in purpose. So when you're asking like what sets me different, I can't speak for others, but I can speak for myself that it's enough that like I'm a better human being because what I do for you guys and how we do this. And then we just get to sit in a community where everyone's succeeding, and then just like soaking in the glory of what's happening because everyone's has a environment where they can stretch themselves and they can push themselves when they don't think they can do it, or they can find strength when they really think they're going to break. Or like when you start building such a community where everyone starts exceeding their expectations that they've set for themselves because what I've just simply empowered and belief in them, like that's how we should spend days.
Right. 100%.
Like, let me just get older now.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be 35 or 40 or 50 or 60, and I'm okay with just spending more days doing what I'm doing with and for you guys. And so what makes me different? I'm in purpose. Like, I'm literally living in purpose for my wife, for my clients, for my friends, for my parents, for my brothers and sisters. Like, I'm living in purpose by example of just empowering you guys to like exceed the craziest things, Elissa. Like, you have set some crazy things and made crazy things happen just in the last 12 months of being with it, that you now are like a better mother for your children. You are now a better business partner for the people that are doing business with you. You're now a better friend for the girlfriends that come to you looking for like advice and help. Like, because you have put yourself through the process, you now offer the people in your circle more. Let's just keep doing more of that.
Right. For everybody.
Everybody.
Like full circle.
Yes.
Everybody you meet in life. I love that.
Yeah.
Your sense of purpose and why you do this absolutely comes across to your athletes. And I can't thank you enough personally for that, because there were times through all this where I didn't know how I was going to get through it and manage it all and bring what I wanted to bring to the table. And there were a couple times it's very difficult for me to ask people for help, but there were a couple of times that I reached out and I'm like, I need to talk for a couple of minutes. Let's have a training session. And we didn't even train for probably 15, 20 minutes because we had to talk through some of the things that were going on in my head. And you listened to me and you offered an ear, but solutions at the same time, and made me kind of change my perspective and where I was at in my head. And it was that shift that said, okay, you can do this. Now you've gotten it out of your system. You said what you needed to say. You talked about your fears. You talked about your insecurities. Now it's game time, baby. Like, let's start training. And what do you need to do today and tomorrow and the next day to make it to your goal? And that's why the mindset is so important with your coaching. And you absolutely do that. And you care. So thank you very, very much for that.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
You talked about something that was really important, and the fact that you just needed a conversation.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I wasn't offering gold to you. I wasn't offering tangible value to you. Like, you just needed a little bit of encouragement when maybe you've experienced critique in your life. Like, you were calling with a caution, and then I received you with an open hand, and you were like, damn, I can do this.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I am more powerful than I'm scared that I won't be able to. Or like, wow, I can do this when I have X, Y, and Z on my plate. Like, that's not going to go away. But you're going to make a conscious decision, am I or am I not going to? And then that's what separates you. Like, we just have more days of someone, let's just talk in a prep if there's 100 days. And you say, no, I'm going to, and I don't want to 98 out of the 100 days. Yeah. And the other person does it 43. Like, you're just going to be that much days better than them because you decided, yes, it's hard. Yes, I have this. Yes, it's this. Yes, I feel this. Yes, it's hard. But there's something inside me that's still going to get me to do the thing that's going to make me better.
Yeah, 100%.
And you did it over and over and over. I wasn't going to fix your financial scenario and some of the real estate stuff you had. I wasn't going to fix emotional things that you had as a mom from being tired. Like, I couldn't fix those things.
Sure.
But I could tell you, Elissa, I hear you. It's heard. It has value. How do we, what? Fill in the blank.
Right. What's
How
the
do
plan?
Yes.
How are we going to move forward? How are we going to get to that goal?
Yes.
And you walk across that stage.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then it was really beautiful when you're talking about, like, in purpose. They beautifully, probably mistakenly set up where I could be like diagonal from the stage watching y'all. And I could just say things to you guys and watch you guys glow, because it was an experience of like, I worked really freaking hard. And then there's someone here that literally looks at me with all my weaknesses, all my tough things, all the stuff that was hard. When I was crying, I didn't want to do diet. I didn't want to do cardio. And I get to look at you and say, like, I'm proud.
Yes. You know, that was so amazing having you and your wife stand over to the side. It just, and when I went on stage, and for me, it wasn't just owning my own business, the kids, the prep, you know, there are health conditions. Yes. And what comes along with that is sometimes my body doesn't really follow my mind. Yes. So for example, I could be walking and sometimes I fall, or, you know, sometimes like the right side of my body doesn't work for a couple of days. And I don't speak a lot about it because I don't have that victim mentality, but it is very real. And so on top of all the insecurities, or can I do this, or getting on stage, let alone in a swimsuit, it's, am I going to fall? Yeah. Is my body going to cooperate with my head? And that is so terrifying, to be up on stage in front of so many people in a bikini and then think about falling. But you know what I told myself? There were a couple of different things. I said, number one, I'm going to have a plan. If I fall, I'm going to get back up and I'm going to grab a microphone and be like, listen, guys, I came here to do something, and y'all are just going to have to sit tight, and I don't care if I keep falling. I have a little health condition, but I will continue my walk, and I'm going to finish strong, and I don't care if I have to do it 5 different times. Yes. That was plan A, okay? I didn't have to go there, which is great. And plan B was just enjoy it and have fun and shelter your mind. Don't let the negativity come in. You know, yes, the physical thing is real, but at the same time, you know, it can manifest if you let it get into your head. And so yes. I was very controlled in my thinking. You did amazing on the diet, because a prep is hard enough, but at the same time, when you're, you know, battling, you know, some health issues. And I remember being up on stage, and, you know, I would look over and that you two were over on the side, and then I heard your voice. And so I was feeling like, oh gosh, what have I done? But then I heard that encouragement, and I was like, you got this, keep going. Mm-hmm. And so that was absolutely amazing. I can't thank you and your wife, Amy, enough for that.
We've been working on that since first session, though.
Yeah, I mean, we have.
Like, we first started doing band workouts for leg days.
Yeah.
And you were scared to walk to the water fountain because you were going to be embarrassed that you were going to fall in the middle of the gym.
Right.
And I walked next to you like we were chatting with my hand there just in case it happened.
You absolutely did.
And we started that cue months ago.
Yep.
So when you heard my voice and tell you that, like, I believed in you, like you had beaten leg days and didn't fall, this is nothing more. And so when you heard that cue, your mentality for months now has been, even if it happens, even if it's there, even if I feel it coming, I can overcome this.
Yes.
And so when you got on stage and you didn't feel any of that, it was like glow away.
Yep.
Just glow.
Yep.
And it was so beautiful to watch. Bikini is the last thing of the day.
Yeah.
And so the beginning morning show, everyone's kind of tired and ready to go on. And so Bikini's there and I'm standing there. And it's like this vibrance comes up on stage. And it's like, that's what, one, I think why I started working with you is that vibrance that still just glowed up there. And then finally we had been talking about it for some months and I had like seen it. And I just was like, oh my God. Like, we've been talking. Yes. Like, I just wanted to celebrate in the moment that finally all the nerves, all the like worry had gone away and you had overcome it. Like, now your power moving forward in days, like your business will probably X-fold more in the next 12 months than it has in the last 12 months.
100%.
Just because you've said it, overcome it, and like not just overcome it, but like slayed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's been beautiful.
Such an amazing experience. Let's talk about the other guys that were on stage too. Okay.